Praise the appearance of Lord Sundave, which means continuously the disappearance of the Ramakeshapur. Just like when the sun comes up, the darkness is dissipated. When the Lord appears, then the puffed up atheist is diminished. So we continue to read the little excerpt from next week's devotion. So, being it is the appearance of the Lord Sundave, but we will just read from that devotion. The part which are related to Lord Sundave. So this is a chapter called Aspects of Transcendental Service, and this is the subject of being a surrendered soul. And hurry back to the last, there is the following statement about surrender. My dear Lord, a person who has surrendered himself to you, who is in firm conviction that he is yours, who accidentally by his body, mind, and words can actually build transcendental bliss. And the Narsimha Prana, Lord Assembly prays, anyone who prays unto me and takes shelter from me becomes my ward, and I protect him always from all sorts of calamities. What does that mean? He becomes my ward.
They might
Yeah.
be my ward.
Yeah, just like in the hospital ward, under the care of the medical professionals. And there's another statement here about meditation. To meditate means to engage the mind in thinking on the form of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, and the service of the Lord. Meditation does not mean anything impersonal or void. According to the literature, meditation is always on the form of Vishnu. The Narsimha Purana, there is a statement about meditating on the form of the Lord. It is said there, meditation focuses on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It has been accepted as transcendental and beyond the experience of material pain and pleasure. By such meditation, even one who is grossly misguided can be delivered from the sinful reactions of his life. So this is from even Lord somebody was saying this. When he punished the atheist, he said even if one is a miscreant, if you meditate on his form, then you'll be delivered from all those sinful reactions. Another nice here about Lord Narsimha regarding chanting. So this is symptoms of ecstatic love, and the subject is singing loudly. One gopi informed Krishna that when Srimati Radharani was singing about his glories, she chanted all her friends in such a way that they became stone-like and all. Interesting, isn't it? Usually when we chant, we expect to become ecstatic. Here it's such an advanced state of absorption to become dull. At the same time, nearby stones began to melt away in ecstatic love. When Narada Muni was chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he chanted so loudly that they apprehended that Lord Nrsimhadev had appeared. Thus, all the demons began to flee in different directions. And before we go to Bhagavatam, this is regarding the Sankirtan and chanting the holy name of the Lord. The person literally chants the glories of the Lord's activities. The chanting is called Sankirtan. Sankirtan also refers to congregational chanting. In the seventh canto, 9th chapter, verse 18, Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj offers the following prayers. My dear Lord Nrsimhadev, if I can be elevated to the position of your servant, then it will be possible for me to hear about your activities. You are the supreme friend, the supreme worshipful deity. Your pastimes are transcendental, and simply by hearing of them, one can counteract all his sinful activities. Therefore, I shall not care for all those sinful activities, because simply by hearing about your pastimes, I shall get out of the contamination of material attachment. It's a very interesting point. The devotee, they're not going to spend too much time lamenting about those past activities, because they're confident that by hearing about the Lord's activities, then they'll be purified. Deva Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8, begin with the summary of the chapter. And this is in relation to the Lord's appearance and Hiranyakshi's disappearance. And then we'll read through the verses and try to speak some on that. So Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons, chapter 8. As described in this chapter, Hiranyakashipu was ready to kill his own son, Prahlad Maharaj. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in front of the demon as Narikeshari, man and half man. Following the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj, all the sons of the demons became Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When this attachment became pronounced, the teacher's son and the martyr were very much afraid that the boys would become more and more devoted to the Lord. In a helpless condition, they approached Hiranyakashipu and described in detail the effect of Prahlad's preaching. So they were in a helpless condition because they were already warned. What is this nonsense? Prahlad is learning at school. It's coming from the teachers, then their heads will be removed. So they were feeling helpless because they couldn't do anything to stop Prahlad. He was such a determined devotee. So they described in detail the effect of Prahlad's preaching. After hearing of this, Hiranyakashipu decided to kill his son Prahlad. So up until that point, he was tolerating Prahlad and he was scolding him, etc. But at this point, it was too much for his reputation that he was a son who was a devotee of his enemy. You just imagine his brother Hiranyaksha was killed by Vishnu. So Vishnu was his sworn enemy, although Vishnu has no enmity toward anyone. The eternal Padavati, he will reciprocate according to the desire. So Hiranyakashipu had a desire to face up to God, and he gets his opportunity soon. So he decided to kill Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu was so angry with Prahlad. He was so angry that Prahlad fell down at his feet. So many things, he said so many things just to pacify him, but he was unsuccessful in satisfying his demoniac father. So just see the difference when Prahlad Maharaj was faultless, and his father was in ill intent, and even despite his apologies, falling down to his feet, and his father was unforgiving. This is demonic mentality. But we see with Maharaj Yudhishthira, even though the personality of Kali was attacking the rule, it was through such a heinous, he wasn't innocent. When he approached for shelter, then he was given that shelter to see the vast world of difference between the demonic mentality and the devotee mentality. Hiranyakashipu was, as a typical demon, began to advertise himself as being greater than the supreme personality of Godhead. But Prahlad challenged him, saying that Hiranyakashipu was not God, and began to glorify the supreme personality of Godhead, declaring that the Lord is all-pervading, everything is under him, and that no one is equal to or greater than him. It's a name for Krishna. No one is equal to or greater than. Someone know that? That's the word. That's the word. But no one's equal to him or no one's greater. So that means then, now, and forever, not that someone might in the future become equal to or greater than Krishna. Krishna is Ajita, unconquerable, which means. Thus he requested his father to be submissive to the omnipotent Supreme Lord. The more Prahlad Maharaj glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the more angry and agitated the demon became. Hiranyakashipu asked his Vaishnava son whether his God existed within the columns of the palace. Prahlad Maharaj immediately accepted that since the Lord is present everywhere, he was also present within the columns. When Hiranyakashipu heard this philosophy from his young son, he derided the boy's statement and was just the top of a child and forcefully struck the pillar with his fist. Now it's said that because Prahlad was a pure devotee, God everywhere, just the opposite, just the atheist, they see God nowhere, but the devotee sees God everywhere, in relation to Krishna, because they see things as they are. Whereas the non-devotee, so they never see things as they are, they only see through the eye of vision. So when Hiranyakashipu struck the column with his fist, actually just before that, when he asked him, is he in this pillar? And the Lord Nrsimha within the pillar gave that a wink to see the Lord's cool sense of humour. It's okay, I'm here, don't worry. Prahlad Maharaj wasn't worried, he'd been through so much torture already, but he was given shelter the whole time. So Lord Nrsimha went to him, just to reassure him, don't worry, this will be over soon. And as soon as Hiranyakashipu struck the column, there issued forth a tumultuous sound. The first Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, could not see anything but the pillar. But to substantiate Prahlad's statements, the Lord came out of the pillar in his wonderful incarnation as Narsimha, half man and half man. Hiranyakashipu could immediately understand that the extraordinarily wonderful form of the Lord was surely meant for his death, and thus he prepared to fight with the form of half lion and half man. So to begin with, momentarily Hiranyakashipu was struck with wonder, but then his false ego kicked in again, and he realized, remember, you're my enemy, and I will kill you. The Lord performed his pastimes by fighting with the demon for some time. So the Lord, he could have immediately just vanquished Hiranyakashipu, but he enjoyed some pastime, and Hiranyakashipu, he obliged in this pastime with the Lord. And in the evening, on the border between day and night, the Lord captured the demon, threw him on his lap, and killed him by piercing his abdomen with his nails. The Lord not only killed Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, but also killed many of his followers. When there was no one else to fight, the Lord, roaring with anger, sat down on Hiranyakashipu's throne. The entire universe was thus relieved of the rule of Hiranyakashipu, and everyone was jubilant and translated to bliss. Then all the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, which the Lord, these included the great sacred persons, the Pitas, the Siddhas, the Vyataras, the Nagas, Manas, Prajapatis, Gandharvas, Charas, and Yakshas, the Kimpurushas, the Vaitalikas, the Kinaras, and also many other varieties of beings in human form. All of them stood not far from the supreme personality that began offering their prayers unto the Lord. His spiritual effulgence was held as he sat on the throne. So we'll just read a few of the verses and then we'll speak about that. So, I'll just go through the verses myself. Sri Narada Vancha, Tadaitya, Chitan Sarve, Shukratad Amivantam, Guru Iravatyatvam, Nairobi Vani Chitam. Translation. Narada Muni continued, all the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj, took them very seriously, rejected the materialistic instructions given by the teachers Sanda and Prabhupada. This is the effect of the preaching of a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. The devotee is qualified, sincere, and serious about Krishna consciousness, and he follows the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, Prahlad Maharaj did. When preaching the instructions he received from Narada Muni, his preaching was effective. As it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25, Satam Prasangam Mahaviri Samvido Bhavanti Vrit Karma Prasayana Katan. If one tries to understand the discourses given by the Sat or pure devotees, those instructions will be very pleasing to the ear and appealing to the heart. So this Sat, there's a term called Sat Sang, you've heard this term. So what does it generally mean? It doesn't just mean bhajan bhojan. They turn it into some kind of bhajan bhojan means we sing some songs and we have something to eat. So it's meant to be more than just a social gathering, sing along in a feast. If the feast is offered to Krishna, that's good. And many of the activities we do are like that. It's not actually bhajan bhojan, it's kirtan prasad. Slightly different because the idea is we're trying to bring other people into this. Automatically we enjoy anyway. It's not because we're doing it for someone else we no longer enjoy the kirtan or prasad. So satsang here is basically being in the company of pure devotees, trying to understand the discourses given by them. So reading Thus, if one is inspired to take to Krishna consciousness and if one practices the process in his life, he is surely successful in returning home back to the pit. By the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, all his class friends and sons of the demons became Vaishnavas. They did not like hearing from the so-called teachers Sandra and Martha. They were interested only in teaching them about diplomacy, politics, economic development, and similar topics meant exclusively for sense gratification. But just like we have this society, KC Socks. KC Socks as in society, not as in stuff that goes on with feet. Christian conscious society within the universities, educational establishments. So we're following the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, where people are being taught politics, economics, diplomacy, other things relating to sense gratification, technical subject matters. And in the places of education, they think this is intelligent, but actually technical subject matter is in the category of Sudra, which is just simply studying the effects of manipulating material energy. And Prabhupada used to say, where is the department for studying the science of the soul? So this type of civilization may be advanced materially. The name for it is four types of persons who don't surrender to Krishna, and this comes under the category of one. Do you remember?
Maya Pahita Jnana. Maya Pahita Jnana.
Yeah, that as well, you actually. The knowledge is stolen by illusion. But I was thinking of the other one.
Asuram Bhavamatsu.
Yeah, that's well, I guess they're all in there. Yeah, I was thinking of specifically because Prabhupada explains that the Naragama, which is not to be confused with Narad. Narad means helpless human being, and Nara means the lowest of mankind. So they have all facilities such as infrastructure, education, healthcare, and all this, but there's no God consciousness. And of course, that does include Asuram Bhavamatsu, Prana, and Deva. But specifically that is the actual material, everything is there, but the one thing which is missing is the essence, and that's Krishna consciousness. And here, Prahlad Maharaj, he brought that into the establishment. The demonic establishment was such that Hiranyakashipu, he is the center of attention of everybody's eyes, and everybody should be educated as to fit in with his desires. And sometimes people are aware of these things when they either in education or in their employment, they feel like they're a cog within a machine. They feel like they lose their personality or individuality. It's interesting though because they also criticize the devotees. They say, oh, you guys are just brainwashed, you're all the same. Actually, it's only when you become free from conditioning can you actually be who you really are. Krishna has made everybody different. We're all individuals. So when Santa and Amarka, the sons of Sukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness, because of the association of Prahlad, they were afraid. They approached the king and described the situation. Concerned the effect of the Krishna consciousness movement was going to disrupt their plans for sense gratification, their so-called culture. But at that time, because they didn't take it seriously, people were around with orange bedsheets, shaved head, and ponytail, going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare ring bells. It's just probably just another manifestation of the counterculture, the hippie culture at the time. So they didn't take it too seriously. Prabhupada said, yeah, this is good because, well, it does actually go against the grain of their everything they stand for. It's not that we're enemies, the devotees are well wishers of everybody, but because they're going down the wrong path, the path that they're trying to pursue, the devotees are showing a different path, which is diametrically opposed. We're not opposed against people, but we're opposed against that which causes forgetfulness of Krishna. So here, stand at the market, they must have tolerated this to some degree. They had already reported to Hiranyakashipu. Now they're saying that these sons of the demons were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness, which means that would have come out in the classroom if they'd been questioning everything. You just imagine they're teaching such materialistic things, and the students would be questioning. They'd be putting the teachers in a very awkward position to the point where they couldn't control them, they'd be on them. But they wouldn't have wanted to go to the Rani Kashyap who just retired because did something, so they'd probably try to deal with it themselves. I've already approached the Kashyap. So the effect of Prahlad's preaching is that anyone associates with the pure devotee and follows instructions becomes fixed in Krishna consciousness and is not disturbed by materialistic consciousness. So therefore the devotees, when they become fixed in Krishna consciousness, they can go anywhere. Devotees, they don't drink, they don't eat meat, all these things, but they can go into a pub, they can go to a butcher's, and they can sell books, they can take people to Krishna, because they're not attracted by these things. And they would say that the teachers were particularly observed this of the students, and they were afraid because the whole community of students was gradually becoming Krishna conscious. So when one is awakened to Krishna conscious, then you can't just simply use some propaganda to put them back to sleep again. And stand at the market for losing the fight. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry, so much so that his body trembled. There's different stages of anger, and even anger can be transcendental. Hari Sorkabu, who's Prabhupada's personal servant, described that Prabhupada had 3 stages of anger, depending on how serious the activity was. And there was one stage, he says, when you see Prabhupada words trembled, he says, then you're not to push anything further than that. So, I can't remember the other ones. So this is a natural effect. So Hiranyakashipu, he started to tremble with anger. And at this point he decided to kill Prahlad. So Hiranyakashipu by nature was cruel and proud. So his pride was feeling insulted. And he decided to kill Prahlad Maharaj. He tried so many different ways to kill Prahlad. So he expected his son to be completely obedient to him, and because there's no authority beyond him, Hiranyakashipu said, "O most impudent one, most unintelligent, disruptive of the family, the lowest of mankind." So he's calling him lowest of mankind, but actually he was the highest of mankind. Because the devotees and the demons see things the opposite way, that he's considering the lowest. You have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you're a fool. Be I should send you to the place of Yamaraj. It's interesting that he understood Yamaraj's existence, but he wasn't thinking that it was going to happen to him. And this is considered by that meeting with Yamaraj and the Pandavas. Was it Yamaraj disguised as a small boy, was it? He was asking this question, what's the most amazing thing? Sometimes Yamaraj would appear in the guise. But anyway, I think they had to take some water and they had to answer the question. It was only Maharaj, in this case, you got the question right, which was the most amazing thing, Anya Hani Bhutani, Bhuchanti Hari Mahavaram. The most amazing thing in the tea world is that every moment the souls are flocking to the house of death. It's like we drive from here to Hamilton, the windscreen's covered in flies, dead bugs, and that's just only a minute fraction of the deaths which are going on every moment. But the most amazing thing is that a foolish person thinks they will not die, even though they're seeing death every moment. They think it won't happen to me. So we Hiranyakashipu was set in this category because only those who are forgetful of Krishna do they forget that Krishna is coming to them in the form of time. Hiranyakashipu had also obtained some benedictions from Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma said that I'm not eternal, so I can't give you that benediction. So Hiranyakashipu is thinking, just a typical demon, is thinking I'm a smart God. So if we make the Big Bang Theory and we find out what's the cause of life, then we can extend our life indefinitely. You see, all the time, despite all the benedictions given to the very clever Hiranyakashipu, where he couldn't be killed in what he considered any circumstance. Okay, so if you can't make me immortal, then I'll consider all conceivable situations where one could be killed, and that way there's no instance where I can be killed. This way he tried to outsmart his fate. So Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsala, protector of his devotees. So even if Lord Nrsimha had to break Lord Brahma's promises, he would do that anyway, just as he would break his own promise in Kurukshetra. He wouldn't take up arms on the battlefield, but he took up the chariot wheel. Therefore, he was known as Parthasarathi. And this is actually by the great Mahajan Vishnu, by his mercy, and he wanted to show that Krishna is so much keen on protecting his devotees that he will forfeit his own reputation. But the Lord was so clever that Hiranyakashipu could smart him, and he kept all those things intact. He had his pastime throughout the day, and when twilight came, and he said, okay, this is neither the day nor the night. You were not killed in the land or the sky, but on my lap. And a threshold between indoors and outdoors, so you're neither in nor out. And so many other things. Anything else that he was promised?
No.
So he wasn't killed by electric, he was killed by the nails of the Lord.
Not in the 12 months of the year.
That's right. So it was a special month.
12 months of the year.
So yeah, it could be killed in any of the 12 months, right? So there's another month created. Purushottam months. And he couldn't be killed by a man or a beast. So the Lord was neither man nor beast. Half man, half lion incarnation of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is neither a man nor beast, he's Supreme Personality. Anything else? So there was in this way, Hiranyakashipu was frustrated. And this is the situation, that the demons will always be frustrated. And their attempts to rule over pure nature, because they don't recognize the supremacy of the Lord. Because they can't see God, then they think God doesn't exist. And sometimes they may challenge and say, well, if there's God, then show me God. So there's a process for seeing God, but they don't want to follow that process. They want their conditions to be met. Well, if there's God, I'll go to the top of this hill and I'll shout on him for 10 minutes. And if he doesn't appear, then that means he doesn't exist. So they made some purely condition that God has to come. So that's just like saying, okay, I've not met Prince Charles, I think it's a conspiracy theory. Not Prince Charles, King Charles, sorry. So you could say, well, okay, I'm going to demand that he comes here. If he doesn't come, then I don't believe him. Or we may believe in God, but we think, or we may consider him as God, I don't know. But I can't see God, so to me it doesn't exist. But that doesn't mean to say it doesn't exist. So, what's the process of seeing God? How do we get to see God?
Devotional service.
Devotion service. Anything else? Yeah, just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. He will reveal the things in the truth. Prana.
Chanting holy names. Chanting holy names.
Because the Lord is not different from his name, then we in Kali Yuga, we see God through the ears. And these are all perfect answers. Anything else? Yeah. Well, there's different ways we can see it. We can see him in the temple.
Deities.
We can see the deities, yeah. And we feel something when we chant the holy name. And generally we don't go by feeling. There was that instance where Prabhupada was, sometimes you like to do the devil's advocate and say, well, how do we know God exists? And then the devotees would go, Ishvara, Prana, Krishna, and Satchidananda, and you would say, well, you could just be that person. Say, how do I know that God exists? So whatever the devotees were saying, Prabhupada was defeating it. So Prabhupada could defeat them in their demoniac arguments, he could also defeat them in their devotional arguments. Not with so many things like Guru Parampara and stuff like that. So how that doesn't, that's just more words, that's just your belief. So finally, the ones that was exhausted is how do we know Krishna exists? Because we feel it. So prior to that, Prabhupada, he was not encouraging the devotees to go by feelings. So establishing that there's a philosophy, there's a process, there's a system, but at the same time it is experienced. We begin to experience that. Without the presence of Krishna, how could we have given up so many other things? It's not possible. So there's a version back, Brahmasamhita, Premanjana, Kirita Bhakti Santa Sadaivari Dayeshu Devokiyanti. So one can see God when one's eyes are anointed with love of God. And so to a devotee, one who's a devotee like Prahlad, he sees God everywhere. So when Rani Kashipu asked him, do you see God everywhere? And he said yes. But to the non-devotee, he doesn't see God anywhere. So a blind man Just because he doesn't see things, it doesn't mean to say that those things don't exist. So for those who can see, those who have got sight, they can see the existence of things. The blind person cannot conceive of what a person with eyes can see. So if a person's eyes are defective, they're not competent to see, then they have to rely on some prescription. So similarly with ourselves, we may be blind. Especially we come to the bachelor Mahamad, they go with feedback and Mahamad, should be the either by the mercy of the spiritual master, a blind man can see stars in the sky at night. A lame man can cross over mountains, and a dumb person can recite eloquent poetry. So we may be blind to Krishna, where we have some degree of consciousness or some faith in God. And by the mercy of the spiritual master, then he opens our eyes. Spiritual master is opening our eyes, which are darkened with ignorance. He's opening the torchlight knowledge. And sometimes he's gently opening them, and sometimes he's forcing them open, because we are forcing them shut. We try to hold them shut, we don't want to see, and sometimes the spiritual master is forcing a little bit. Yes, this is mercy. And Srila Prabhupada said also that the spiritual master, he is like the spectacles. We try to read with defective vision, we can't see clearly, we might make so many mistakes. So even if you're reading Shastra, you put bad things, you can't read it, and then you might get some false conclusion, but you put your glasses on, you can see it clearly. So the spiritual master, he is the spectacles. He helps us to see things clearly. You might read something, but without the spiritual master, without the discussion amongst the devotees, and without the verification of the sadhu, the Guru Sadhu Shastra, then we could conclude wrongly. Therefore, we need association with devotees. Hearing and chanting in association with devotees is actually so beneficial, and Krishna recommends that. The devotees are always discussing and enlightening one another. This is another process of where the devotees advance devotional service. So just like Prahlad Maharaj with all his schoolmates, they were becoming advanced because there was a whole cycle. He's speaking about Krishna. So just imagine Prahlad Maharaj would be holding court, giving Bhagavatam classes. And so Krishna, he's never manifest to two types of people. Well, specifically, he says foolish and unintelligent. So foolish and unintelligent. So that doesn't mean to say material intelligence. And regarding foolishness, it means that despite the fact we have this human form of life, which is a great opportunity for self-realization, we engage in activities which are not different from the animals like we would have. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending foolishness. There was one book published, I think it only printed one time, called Intellectual Animalism. Maybe some of you have seen that. Have you seen that? Intellectual Animalism. So it goes in to explain in detail how this eating, sleeping, mating, and defending is actually going on in human society, which they think is becoming very advanced because it's no more. Prana puts it very simply that the animal defends with its claws or its teeth, and we defend with nuclear missiles, smart bombs, and drones, etc. But it's still the same thing. Where's the advancement? We're still defending. We haven't learned to give up defending. Then mating, sleeping, maybe done on a gold bed with silk sheets, and the dog does it on the street. The dog sleeps in a shop doorway, something like that. But when you're sleeping, you don't know where you are. It's not when you're sleeping, you're thinking, I'm sleeping on a good bed, this is amazing. My dreams are much better. When you're sleeping, you're somewhere else, you don't know where you are. So this is all the atheists have. If they have no God, then all they can see is what is before them. If all they can trust is what they see with the material eyes, then the Lord won't reveal himself. But if they put faith into the process of Krishna consciousness, then Krishna will reciprocate with them accordingly. Etam bhajanti bhajamiham. So Prabhupada says that, so in this spirit, the atheist in the spirit of being the enjoyer, being the controller, and they demand God to show himself. So God is not subject to the demands of some upstart atheist, just like Hiranyakashipu. He's an upstart, bigger than most Kali Yuga Hiranyakashipus, but still nothing that Krishna can't contend with. And Prabhupada said, but because of this mood, then they're not qualified. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samadhita. The partner of yoga maya is always in front of the vision of the atheist because they don't have the right attitude. So there's some conditions. If you want to see God, some conditions. Just like before you come into the temple, one condition is you have to take off your shoes or you're not allowed in. That's the case, isn't it? Even when they bring in local dignitaries, shoes are coming off, not allow anyone in with shoes. And they expect it and they respect it. Because especially in this culture, fortunately, they're multiculturalism, then they're beginning to take on the etiquette of other cultures foreign to which we're foreign to. So just as you want to see the deity form, you have to take your shoes off, you can't come in certain conditions. You couldn't come in if someone was intoxicated, you say, sorry, you can't come in the temple in that condition. You can sober up and then come back. So similarly, Yoga Maya, she protects the spiritual world. Not that Krishna needs protection, but she protects the spiritual world from the upstarts of the material world. I can't remember if it was in the Krishna book, where it was explained, or it could be. I can't remember where it was. But it might be in the Krishna book, who was that? What was it? Dravida Gorilla? Yeah. Who tried to expose himself to the gopis, etc., and he was making rude gestures. So he was trying to gate crash the rasa dance. So one cannot do that. Lord Shiva also is Kshetrapal, he's protector of the dam, will not allow anyone to enter into the dam. So therefore, Prabhupada said that you cannot buy a ticket to Vrindavan. So you could go into the travel agent, you could buy a ticket to Vrindavan. So why would Prabhupada say you can't buy a ticket to Vrindavan? You could buy a ticket any day. So what is meant by that? Sorry.
The Lord doesn't reveal himself cheaply.
In the real himself, people listening to the okay, 300 quid, I can get into Vrindavan, and then that's it. I don't need more of this process of devotional service, so just get a ticket, get my bazaar, get a token, some necklace, and that's me. Instantly, okay? So you can go to Vrindavan, and you may not see, because we have to qualify ourselves. And this preaching in the West is actually a great way of qualifying ourselves, because Prabhupada showed that even when he was extremely sick. You see his last visit to Bhaktivedanta Manor. You see the picture of him in his palanquin, where basically it's just skin and bone, there's no flesh there. While he was there, actually, he had some urinary infection and they took him into Watford General Hospital. And the doctors were amazed that someone could maintain their life in such a condition. They said, how is it possible that he's not in extreme agony every moment? But Prabhupada was just so blissful and undisturbed. But Prabhupada wanted to show that even at the last moment, his desire was to preach the people, and of course he did go to Vrindavan to die, but that is his right. Of course, the devotee never dies. But he was showing that this is so important, this mission in the West. This is how we get the message, and this is how we can become qualified to enter into Vrindavan, to serve the mission of the Lord. Yet Krishna resides in Vrindavan. Krishna also resides here in Narsimha. He's come here, he's on Yatra, he's on traveling Sankirtan. And these temples are oases of the spiritual world, they're not different. At one time, Shiv Ramaraj was visiting and he just finished the book Nava Raja Mahima, which is a series of books. And the whole thing about that is that Vrindavan can manifest in the association of devotees anywhere. And as he was speaking, I was thinking, when's he going to speak about the book? When's he going to speak about the books? But I gradually began to realize he wasn't speaking about the books. He was manifesting the essence of the book, of the temple. And he concluded saying that Krishna can also be Vrindavan. It became like Vrindavan. Even if you read a little red nectar book, the devotees, they have these little red nectar books. With the infamous Chinese dictator Mao Zedong, he had a little red book of the sayings of Mao Zedong, and that was the logbook of the Communist China. So these little red books still in fashion, but it was wonderful nectarian pastimes of Prabhupada. And the devotees said that they went for a walk with Prabhupada, the morning walk in one of the parks, New York or somewhere else. But they became aware that it was Vrindavan, wherever Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and they were astonished. And the Prabhupada gave them a glimpse that by the mercy of the spiritual master, by the practice of Krishna consciousness, that you can be in Vrindavan all the time. So the atheists, they cannot see this. Sometimes, even in the neophytes journey in devotional service, Krishna may temporarily slightly lift the curtain of Maya just to give a little glimpse that there's nothing beyond this world. So just as Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavatam that Maya can give the living entity an idea, a notion, and that keeps the person chasing that will-o'-the-wisp for the whole life. And similarly, Krishna can reveal a little bit of nectar which will keep us chasing. So just Narada Muni, he got some darshan of Lord Vishnu because he had pleased the Bhaktivedantas, those great devotees, and he took the remnants, he served them very humbly with menial service. And he heard from them. So he got darshan of the Lord, but then the Lord disappeared. And the Lord disappeared, but a voice came back and said, "You'll not see me again in this life, but in the future life you'll be a great sage Narada Muni." And the Lord does that to encourage us to yearn for Him more. So when we're struggling and doubts come in, then cast your mind back to the reality of some nice experience you had in Krishna consciousness. To share one thing, I think because it's fasting today, then we can go on with class a little longer if that's okay. Too much. As so there was one time we were visiting Bhaktivedanta Manor with a couple of devotees, and it was quite a busy Sunday, and it was the first time this the person who brings back to that manner is really new to Krishna consciousness. And I discovered that he actually didn't do well in crowded places, so he was starting to freak out and said, oh, I thought, okay, we're going to have a bad experience. I thought, let's go to Prabhupada's room, so it'll be quiet up there. So we went upstairs to Prabhupada's rooms, so then he started to feel quite calm. And he felt the atmosphere was really nice. And I thought, okay, let's go into the other rooms. When you go into Prabhupada's rooms, you see him sitting there in his murti form by the desk translating. Behind the door, there's also his bathroom, his bedroom, and you can go and see that at times as well. So we took him in, and as we were going into the bathroom and then the bedroom, it was almost like he was entering into a different consciousness. And both of us could really feel that. There was some real mercy coming from Prabhupada, and he started crying. And he says, are you getting this? And I said, I think I am. Because whatever he was experiencing, I felt there was something going on as well. And it was quite ecstatic. And it was almost, because it was clearly that Prabhupada was saying that you're giving these blessings of what you're doing is a good thing, keep it going, keep doing this Kirtan program. And so afterwards I said to him, whatever doubts come into your mind afterwards, you won't have this feeling lasting forever. Whenever doubts come up, catch your mind back to that, this is real. Everything else is not real. When the mind is doubtful, it thinks all the material, external things are real, and the spiritual life is just imagination. But no, it's directly experienced, you can feel it. So this verse from the Prana Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Galochanena Santa Sadaiva Vedayeshu Vilokyanti. So this Sadaiva means always, not part-time, and not that we put certain conditions on it. So if we want to see God everywhere, then we have to learn to stop placing conditions on how we offer, what we offer as devotional service. I can do this, I can't do this. I'm not prepared to do that. So in the beginning, there may be some conditions there, but if we want to advance, we have to relax those conditions, because it's called unconditional love. And if we want unconditional love from Krishna, we want unconditional protection, then we have to come to that point of being unconditional in our service. So therefore, Krishna says that don't be attached to the result, just be attached to doing the duty. That's unconditional. One devotee told me that he had a dream, and Prabhupada and Krishna were there. And he asked Krishna, how can I develop love for you? And he pointed to Prabhupada. And he said to Prabhupada, same question, he says, do your duty, everything will come. So this is the main thing. In the course of doing our duty, there's so many ups and downs may come along, but by continuing to do that, then we're qualifying ourselves for eternal life with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His eternal associates. So this Sadaiva means always, to always be in connection with Krishna. So to begin with, obviously we have so many conditions because we don't join one day and the next day we're a pure devotee instantaneously. It takes some time. But we have to be prepared to perform some austerity and to learn to tolerate. And we cannot advance if we place so many conditions that we practically don't allow ourselves to advance. So we have to be open to this aspect of becoming unconditional and unmotivated. And this is actually what we really want. There's no fast way to it. The process is there. So therefore, Prabhupada very kindly designed this Krishna conscious movement in such a way that from the moment we get up, first thing we do is, what do we do? Yeah, anybody do something different? I get alarm clock. Like, well, not again. I just felt like my shoes shut. No, surely that can't be right. Can't be 4 o'clock already. Yeah, first thing we do is obeisances to the spiritual master. Before we even practically get out of bed, we just turn around, pay our obeisances. We get out of bed, on the floor, pay our obeisances. Immediately we start our day with honoring the spiritual master. And then we cleanse the body of the effects of tamas gun, come to the temple, get darshan, hear the holy names, discuss about Krishna, then we take prasad, we charnamrita, we see the day with charnamrita, worship the Guru, we take prasad, then we do service all day long, and then in the evening we have some time for recreation. And what is recreation for the devotees? So the whole day from dawn till dusk. So therefore, Prabhupada has designed our day so that we can come to this point of sadaiva, always being engaged, even in our sleep. Anyone ever dream of Krishna or the devotees or their service? Usually when you're so absorbed in something, then you dream of it. Just like when we were in Nepal and we went up there twice. I went twice, Prabhupada went many more times. All day long for a period of about 2 weeks each time, just looking for Shalagram Shilas. So at night time, we can dream about the Shalagram Shilas. The Shilas are all next to your bed as well. I had a dream that I'm seeing the embankment of the river, which was like maybe about 10 foot high. And I had a dream that was a huge big Shalagram in there. And I was thinking, maybe we're going to find the biggest shalagram ever tomorrow. So I kept on looking at the cliffs to see if there was any sign of a shalagram peeping out. But the point is that when you're absorbed in something all the time, then that takes place even in your dreams. So even Sanktan devotees, I've heard Sanktan devotees talking in their sleep, stopping people. Excuse me, take a bit, yeah, good idea, good donation. And you pop you down for £2 and squeeze you in for £5. You say around get those talking in the sleep. So if we're engaged in thinking all the time, even devotees, if they somehow or another they pass away in some apparent inauspicious situation, many non-devotees, they want to pass away in their sleep because basically they don't want to be there when it happens. But they're going to be there when it happens. But the devotee, they don't want to pass away in their sleep. And for them, it's like that would be the least auspicious situation. But even if one passes away in an unfortunate situation, or even if they somehow or another they can't remember the Lord, I would say that if the devotee dedicates his life to the Sankirtan movement and they have difficulty remembering the Lord at the time of death, the Lord Chaitanya will forcibly enter into your mind. So this is the reward. That even if somehow we forget, we did dedicate our life to the Lord's mission, and He will forget us. No chance. So, just as if somebody's in love with somebody, if you've ever been in love, then even when you're at work or you're at school or college, you're just thinking about that person all the time. When can I be with next? So the devotees like that too, and everything they're doing, they're all just thinking of Krishna automatically. They think of Krishna. And Hiranyakashipu, he was so opposed to Krishna that he couldn't bear to hear Prahlad speaking about Krishna, and therefore he decided to kill him. So even though he was such a cruel atheist, then Prahlad remained a well-wisher, just like Prabhupada we'd always sign his name, you're ever well wisher. So this is the Vaishnava. Every day we say this verse, Vanchakampa, Tirabhishcha, Kripasindubhya eva cha, Patidaram bhavnebu Vaishnaveva namo namaha. So Kripasindubhya, the oceans of mercy. So if you try to enter the ocean, it's an impossible task. You couldn't enter the ocean. Where are you going to put it anyway? The ocean is boundless. So similarly, a devotee's mercy is boundless. Even though Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Prahlad, and even though he was a big demon, when the opportunity came for Prahlad to ask for some benediction, he didn't want anything for himself. He just simply said, "Please can you deliver my father?" So this is such an eternal well-wisher that the devotee, and it's a great lesson, so many lessons in this pastime, that even if someone declares themselves as our enemy, we remain a well-wisher, and therefore they're not our enemy. They may see us as an enemy, but we don't see them as them. We just try to think, this is a shame that someone is like this, it's unfortunate, so we just pray that Krishna can benefit them somehow. So Prabhupada explains, just like if you draw water from the ocean is not going to experience any diminution. And similarly, if someone draws mercy from a devotee, then it's not that the devotee becomes less merciful. Still, they're full of mercy. So Prabhupada explains that it's important that we follow in the footsteps of great devotees. So that doesn't mean to say we imitate. So there's a difference between imitating. Is if you wanted to imitate Prahlad Maharaj, you'd have to go to the pot of boiling oil and chant Hare Krishna. So if we think we're on that level, we can go down to the local zoo and ask them to throw you in a pit of snakes. Or see if the elephant will pick you up and put you on his head and ride triumphantly with boiling oil. Next time somebody's frying some puri, stick your hand in and walk, chant Hare Krishna, see how advanced you are. So of course we don't test Krishna like that. So the point is that we don't imitate, but we follow in the footsteps. So imitate, Prabhupada says this is, if I imitate that needs to fall down. It's called Anuskarana. Anuskarana means we're doing, Kara means to do. So we're doing, we're doing like them. So rather than Anuskarana, then it should be Anusharana, which should be taking shelter. So we take shelter in these great persons and don't imitate them, because imitate them means we think we don't need them, we can be them. But to take shelter means that by their mercy, then we've got some shelter. And we follow the instructions. So to develop this premanjana, this eyes intense with the salve of love of God, then we attract the Lord's mercy by engaging in devotional service. And by following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was protected, and Hiranyakashipu was vanquished. Hiranyakashipu, just like any other atheist, he only seen God at the time of death. He couldn't see. He was challenging right up to the time when he was killed. Even when he appeared, he still couldn't see him. Just like Krishna, when he was here, not everybody seen him. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here, not everybody seen him. Then Hiranyakashipu, he couldn't see him. But then when he was killed, then he seen God at the time of death. And I told you, what was that Hiranyakashipu experienced when he was being killed by Lord Sridhar?
Less.
So if people think, oh, this Krishna, he seems to like killing a lot of people. And Krishna is absolute. When he's giving bliss to the devotees, it comes one way, but when he's killing the demons, they also experience his mercy, experience bliss. And everyone in Kurukshetra was granted liberation. So the Lord is always the well-wisher of the living entities. So the atheists, they only see God when it's too late. And then that's basically the time of death, when he takes everything away. So all their all the benedictions that Brahma gave were taken away. He worked so hard for his empire, just like we work so hard to get some qualifications. We become PhD, MA, BA, MAD, DOG. We may become so many qualifications. But at the time of death, then they're all taken away, they don't count. Their name, the fame, the possession, that's all gone. But for a devotee, because they utilize everything in Krishna's service, and they transfer their attachment to serving, and they transfer the attachment to Krishna, then that attachment is liberating. So they're using the thorn to pluck a thorn. So we'll just stop at this point. We have a program this evening also. And we can continue hearing more about the glories of Lord Deva and Prahlad Maharaj. And it's a very good timing that we're reading the 7th canto at this point anyway. So very much we're hearing the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. And it was Prahlad Maharaj's mood that we don't just retire to the forest, to the hills, but he wanted to go where the people were so that he could give Krishna consciousness. So this is following his footsteps, is to give Krishna consciousness. The more we give, the more we attain ourselves. So, anyone got any questions or comments?
Well, when we're thinking about these pastimes, that you were saying that we should try to be like Prabhupada, although we may not. So sometimes there was getting in the middle of Lord and singing there rather than with Prabhupada. We were not now. The devotees were really in the mood of Lord and singing there, so place for also for us. And one of the way coming to that was we were supposed to be like so we've got this thing coming up now, which is also like a kind of an attack. So do we go in there and move Prahlad, or should we look at it?
Well, Prahlad, he wasn't a pacifist. If you read later on, he was Prahlad Maharaj and a great king. And see, Srila Prabhupada had an example with that Bombay temple. He wasn't just going to the temple praying and doing nothing. He was actively involved in defending ISKCON's property for the deities. So certainly, if someone's making an attack on ISKCON, then we should fight. If someone's making an attack against a devotee, then we can use physical means to stop it. Prahlad Maharaj also was a king, he had a sword. he wasn't an ascetic. So, examples of devotees being attacked, then the devotees try to tolerate, and they would try to give some warnings, if it's, unless it's so severe that you have to act immediately. I remember one devotee was being harassed in Glasgow. The devotee was getting pushed around quite seriously. And another devotee seen it, he only told the guy, we warned him. We had this thing that you would give 3 warnings, 3 is Vedic. So we got 3 warnings and he was told what would happen if he didn't stop it. So he didn't stop it and it happened. And so the devotees try to avoid all these things as much as possible. If you can leave, if there's some trouble there, just like in martial arts, the first thing they teach you is to avoid the danger, avoid the trouble. The first thing they teach you is to run. It's not that you're a coward, but you can, if you can get away from the danger, just like Prabhupada when he was in New York and San Francisco, and he pointed out this boy kept on leaving the soap in the shower, which was a dangerous thing to do, leaving it in the shower floor. And the boy came back under the influence of something, and he was looking very glaringly hostile at the Prabhupada, and Prabhupada just got his things and left. And the devotee says, "Oh, well, didn't you just take shelter with Krishna?" He said, "Yeah, I did. Krishna said there's some danger, leave." So when there's some danger, we try to leave. We don't think, okay, danger here. Let me roll the sleeves up. This is an opportunity to take out my frustrations on someone. We try to avoid that, and we don't want to put this illusioned living entity in more difficulty by giving them an opportunity to make offences. So when someone creates some difficulty for devotees or for the movement, then we should think, it's unfortunate for them for creating such a bad future for themselves by doing this. We should feel sorry for them. At the same time, we should do everything in our power to resist. Is that okay? Manjana, you want to go back to the religion?
I had a question about this. You were saying earlier, we were talking that essentially faith is the prerequisite for one being able to see or perceive God.
Can't quite hear you. No, the microphone's too loud, so you have to speak quietly. If you turn that mic down a bit, speak louder into it. Somebody know how to turn that mic down a little bit?
Maybe I can speak like this. Is there any question? Hare Krishna. So you were saying before how essentially faith is the prerequisite to see or perceive God. That's why the atheists cannot understand God. But what's the prerequisite to faith? How does one get faith?
So, first of all, meeting a devotee, and then from that comes faith. Is it 9 processes? 9 stages. What's the first one?
Faith is taking the first one. Faith and then sadhusanga is second.
So a little bit of faith must be there. So generally, if one becomes frustrated and you want to look for something else, then the Lord will start to give you little pointers. Because many people get the opportunity to take association with devotee, but they may not take the opportunity. So if you want to start on a journey, there must be some desire to get out of the material. There must be some desire to know what is this world? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? When that desire is there, then the Lord will give some opportunity. Just like if you have a desire to travel somewhere, if you're going to go on an airplane, first of all, you have to want to go there. And then you feel a little bit of faith that the plane is going to get you there. And then you step on the plane. If you have no faith in the plane, then you're not going to go on it. So by mercy of devotees, quite often this is what Agyata Sukriti. So sometimes we're engaging people in service unknown to them, like Tesco, Co-op, they're giving some donations and we're using it in Christian service. So people are getting benefited by that. Or even when you're on the street and someone, they're not interested in the book, might not really know who you are, but they know you're doing something good, so they give you some money. So we use it in Christian service and then they get benefited. When they get some prasadam, they don't know what is prasad, but they get some prasad. They get benefited. There's so many examples of that. Because Krishna, Prabhupada said that prasadam is our secret weapon. So when we're doing this food for Scotland, we're not doing this simply because we want to be seen to be philanthropists or we want to just get access to grants. We're doing it because we want to give spiritual food stuff to people. We're simultaneously also getting to their material need, and so many other material benefits may come from that. But primarily we give prasadam, because even devotees are happy to give it prasad because they know they've got faith in the effect of spiritual food stuff. So, and after getting some prasadam, so maybe somebody has some examples. I had experience once. I was doing books in Paisley, and this lady, she wasn't interested in the book. I had some prasadam with me at the time. It was laddu that Maureen had made, Maureen from Paisley. And I said, oh, okay, you don't want a book, but the cook made these sweets, and I've been asked to get the public to test them and tell me what they think. And so, as soon as she put the sweet in her mouth, she said, how much is the book? I had experience a few times. So this is how we try to bring some good fortune to the people by giving them a book. Even if they don't read it, someone else may read it, they get the benefit of buying it. The benefit of someone else who read it. And if that person becomes a devotee and they bought the book, they get so much benefit. So the devotee is always looking to try to bring some benefit into the lives of the fallen conditioned souls. Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, and prasadam, the main approaches. And then by this, there may be a book in their house for some time. Prabhupada says these are like time bombs. In due course of time, something will happen. It may not be the person who bought it, maybe their child 20 years later reads the book. And just like Prabhupada Vani, his mother, she bought Bhagavatam second canto or sixth canto in Commonwealth Town Centre. And she was in her 70s at that time. No interest whatsoever. She thought, oh, my son's into all this kind of stuff, he'll be interested. So Bhagavatam came and we were all looking it out, seeing the Sanskrit and amazing. Even though we couldn't understand a word of it, we just felt like there was something amazing about the book. So this is Prabhupada's mood. If we just mass, he called it blanket distribution, if we just get the, not getting out back blankets, but covering the whole country, covering the whole world with books. This is the main thing, this is the main focus. He said, even if this is gone, finishes, if the books are out there, then someone will start it again. So by engaging in this, giving out the mercy, then so much mercy comes to us and we advance very quickly. Is that okay? So, and it's possibly for us as well, we've been Agyata Sukriti over lifetimes. Also, causeless mercy of the devotee. Causeless mercy is, there's nothing in it for them. You go on the street, you give out the book, they go to some program, where there may be some people who have got a little faith, some people who have got no faith, some people inquisitive, different types of people who approach Krishna. The devotee puts himself in situations where they get the opportunity to spread Krishna consciousness. Anything else? It's Guru in the key.
Yeah.
Key.
Yeah.
Narsimha Bhagavatam key. Shri Prabhupada Krishna key. Sangade Bhagavan key. Tat Maharaj key.
Yeah.
Ever been behind?
Experience from Prabhupada key.